Supreme Court could tip its hand on Roe v. Wade. As soon as the Supreme Court could signal as soon as Tuesday that it is ready to once again revisit the landmark abortion decision Roe v. Wade. Conservative legislatures in states like Georgia and Alabama have in recent weeks raced to pass restrictive abortion laws in the hopes of testing the 1973 decision, which held that women have a qualified constitutional right to end their pregnancies. Much of that legislation was spurred by the confirmation of Justice Brett Kavanaugh, President Donald Trump's second appointee to the panel, in October. The addition of the newly passed laws are unlikely to make it before the top court anytime soon. It could be two laws limiting abortions passed in Indiana in 2016 and signed by then government. Mike Pence prevents abortions sought for reasons deemed discriminatory, for instance, those based on the expected race or disability of the fetus. The other requires. Both laws were blocked by lower courts before going into effect, but experts say that the Supreme Court is likely to uphold any but the most restrictive abortion laws if it decides to formally review them. While the 5 conservative justices may avoid a complete overturning of Roe or a later decision which narrowed it, taking up either Indiana law would signal that the court intends to hamstring some long-standing protections. In Planned Parenthood, the possibility that Roe could be weakened but not eliminated is more alarming for some reproductive rights groups than its direct reversal. Those groups worry. Another abortion law the justices are likely to review soon was passed in Louisiana. In February, the court's February decision has spurred intrigue. In 2016, Louisiana for the court to hear the case, though that petition was not up for a vote Thursday. If the court takes up the Indiana or Louisiana abortion cases, they will likely be heard in the term that begins in October. A decision would be
Raindrop, truck top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. I keep fucking on your bitch, yeah, that